Hi and welcome to my channel. This video will just take you through my shopping adventure at Lowe's in finding the perfect Venus flytrap and how to take care of them. So more often than not, these Venus flytraps that you find at the home improvement stores are not really taken care of, so they will kind of look like they're dead. So the trick is you want to find the ones that have way more green traps than the black or brown traps. And I use the 50% rule, and that means that if more than half of the traps are green, then that's probably a really good plant for you to purchase. And from the top angle, I was able to determine which plant has a better ratio of green traps to brown traps. And this angle just gave me a better view of the plants from the roots down so that I can determine the best plant to take home. And once I picked my plant and I got it home, I went right ahead and started to repot it. So I live in Texas, zone 8 for growing, and my Venus flytraps, most of them just kind of sit outside and enjoy the heat. Okay, so once you get it home, you want to remove all of the plastic covering from your Venus flytrap and try not to touch any of the traps just because you don't want to disturb it. All I did was I just kind of push the pot up, or you can remove the bottom, but just don't grab it from the top. So this Venus flytrap does have some black and brown leaves, but it's not a lot, so we're going to trim it after we repot it. So the soil mixture that you want to use is 1-to-1, half peat moss and half perlite. And on top, what I just removed is the sphagnum moss that you'll find in any of your local home improvement store, or most of the time it's wrapped around the Venus flytrap. Once you remove the Venus flytrap from its pot, you'll see that it will be covered with sphagnum moss. Sometimes it's covered with peat moss as well, but just be careful in removing the sphagnum moss from the roots of the Venus flytrap just so that you don't rip anything. And I did rip a little piece of the root, but that's okay, just as long as you didn't remove the entire root. So just be really careful at this step. So it looks like I have two Venus flytrap plants. This can happen when your plants split, or you could just have two plants. So I'm actually going to split them up and repot them in their own space just so that they have plenty of room to grow. And I just used my finger to dig a hole in the peat moss and perlite mixture and put my plant directly in the soil. And if you don't like using your fingers, you can always use the edge of a Sharpie to dig your hole. And for spacing, I try to plant my Venus flytraps about 2 inches apart from each other. And once my Venus flytraps are in their spot, nice and secure, the next step is I use my TDS tester to test to make sure that the water does not have a lot of minerals in it. And I only use filter or distilled water for my Venus flytraps just because I don't want a lot of the mineral buildup on my plants. So this was the sphagnum moss that I removed from the Venus flytraps, and all I did was I poured the distilled water into the sphagnum moss just so that it could soak up all of the water, and I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. And this is me just placing all of the sphagnum moss on top of my plants just to help keep in the moisture. And once the pot is all covered with sphagnum moss, I just went ahead and poured some more water into my pot. And this is when I will start to trim off all of the black or brown traps from my plants. Just because a lot of the dead traps will have falling off in the process of you repotting it. So that's why I like to trim it after I repot it. Once my plant is all nice and trimmed, I just go in with a spray bottle and I just spray it just to give it some more water. And the last step is to feed your Venus flytrap a live bait. The trick is to put your fly in the fridge just for a few minutes so that the fly can hibernate, and then the process will be a lot easier. And if your Venus flytrap doesn't close right away with a live bait, it just means that it's just under a lot of stress from being repotted. So give it a few days and it should come back to normal. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more longer tips on how to take care of your carnivorous plants.